Hi there. I want to elaborate more about the danger signs I talked about earlier. So, someone asked under my video, what will you do? What are some of the first aid preparations that you have to do before you take the child to the hospital? So, one, when we talk about the fever, which is very high, you tap a sponge. When I talk about tap a sponging, you get a warm water, then not a hot water, I mean a warm water, yes, to make the water tepid. Then you start from the legs of the child by sprinkling the water on the child up to the head. Then you leave the water, the debris of the water on the child. Then after that, you get suppository paracetamol. It's faster than the syrup because the syrup goes through digestion. So you get suppository paracetamol through the anus, then you give it to the child. After that, you prepare the child for the hospital. When we talk about lethargy, what you can do about lethargy is you feed the child as much as the child can tolerate. Then you bring the child to the hospital. When you talk about difficulty in breathing or respiratory distress, you remove all tight clothing of the child to allow more air. Then you make sure that wherever the child is not stuffy. Then you bring the child to the hospital. If the child is an asthmatic, you give his or her inhaler to her, 2 puffs each every 2 hours till you get to the hospital. Again, when we talk about jaundice, what you can do about jaundice is just to come to the hospital. You can't do anything at home because you might not know the level of the bilirubin of the child. So you just have to come to the hospital for the phototherapy. Then, when we talk about hypothermia is when the child is extremely cold. You cover the child with a lot of clothes, or you cover the child with a lot of cloth so that the child will keep the child warm before you come to the hospital. I think I've exhausted it. Before I leave, talking about convulsions, you don't have to give the child anything by mouth. Yes, you are not supposed to be or give the child anything by mouth because the child will be having jerky movements and it will be rigorous. So what you do is you wait for the rigorous movement or the convulsions to be over. Then you come to the hospital. With some of the convulsions of these under 5s, it's as a result of high temperature. So you can also give the suppository paracetamol. You do the tap sponge, then you bring the child to the hospital. Thank you.